All right, what's going on, guys? We're back here and we are live. I know it's been a little bit, about a week actually, to be exact. But we are back here. Should be good for the next few days at least. I was actually traveling all week last week. I had a event. I actually met some of you guys there. If I met you, let me know in the chat at the Inner Circle, Tim Sykes' event. Did Mono retire? I think Mono's retired. Mono's a retired trader these days. No, I mean, he's still chilling. He hasn't been trading a ton of market open, which I can't blame him. He's chilling. He's doing his own thing. But again, he'll be joining us here and there, I'm sure. But for now, expect mostly me. I'm here with you guys. Don't you worry. Steven, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah. You're the man. The man. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm glad to be back, and it's good to be back. There we go. Hey, what's going on, Brian? Glad to see you in here too, my friend. Yeah, so we were with the Tim Sykes Inner Circle group. It was a great time, lots of learning, lots of education, and just a good time getting to meet you guys. I know some of you, Steven, Brian. It was always a pleasure. I hope to be at the next one too. Won't be for a few more months. Don't worry. Not going to just be leaving you here on YouTube. I will be here with you guys. And yes, by the way, good reminder. Just for anyone curious, I got to find where it'll link somewhere. I've got a boot camp coming up in 2 days, in just a couple of days here. Well, no, tomorrow. Shoot, Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. So I've also got a workshop that I'll be hosting. I'm going to drop that in the description of this. That's how I'll do this. Join in my workshop November 14th through 15th. Just for anyone curious, anyone wants to join, you'll see, you can click the link. I'm going to put it in the description here for these videos. I don't think I can do a description on Twitter. I can't. Cool. So yeah, I've got the, maybe. There you go. You should see the description updated. I'll also put the link in the chat. Just for anyone curious, that link, I've just put it in the YouTube and Facebook chat. But we're just going to be doing a 2-day workshop. I know some people were asking about it, so I figured I'd throw it in there. Jack's already signed up. Beautiful. So this morning, yeah, so the workshop, it's fully educational from me. We're going over patterns. We'll be going over one of the big things I like to talk about, setup versus patterns, how I build my watch list. We talk about swing trading, short selling, long bias trading, day one gappers. Yeah. Agreed. You'll get some extra time with me too. But again, if you want to join that, by all means, would love to see you there. If not, no worries either. I totally get it either way. You might be busy this weekend. It's going to be Friday and Saturday. I think we start at 12 o'clock tomorrow, either 11 or 12. And then roughly 11 o'clock on Saturday morning too. Should be like 3 to 4 hours a day. How to sign up for that? Yeah, I just put the link in the chat. It's also in the description of the video. But anyways, we've got a couple of minutes left, and I want to go over my top play of the day today. I've been really dialing back my market open trading, mainly because there's just been a lot of chop. We've talked about this before. So unless there's like a really, just for me, like a layup setup or, a setup that I'm really stoked about, I'm probably not going to be trading much at market open, but we'll say, and it is a short today. All right. Those of you guys who are a little bit on the, a little bit nervous about short selling, I get you. I feel you. Don't worry. It's open, OPEN. And so let me just kind of explain the thesis here. Very simple. We're gapping down a little bit today. We had this big extension into yesterday's close, which honestly, I would love to see a push into there. But since our earnings call, we've gone straight up from 5 to nearly 10. We're up nearly 100%. Actually, it might be over 100% if you include, I think we dipped down to 475 in that after hours session. in which case we have officially hit roughly, I think it's 100%. This is this is $7 billion company now, right? So, I mean, we've increased market cap size by roughly $3.5 billion from lows. I do think this is going to be a sweet breakout chart, no doubt about it. But because of that level of extension, I'm going to be looking at this short today. I would like to see a pop into the nines. I would honestly love nothing more than to see a breakout through this 975 and a failure. I just don't think we're going to get that. We're already dipping a bit here in pre-market. So again, this should be easy to borrow most places. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through my process in a day like this. If you've never shorted before, this is not your sign to just go YOLO into a short. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you right now. You've never done it before, don't do it. It's okay. You don't need to hit every single trade. Do this if this is a setup that makes sense to you. That's really all I can say. All right. I don't want you guys getting in here and being like, I've never done this before. Add. That's how you lose all your money. That's how you lose everything that you got. Right now, fortunately, again, one of the big kind of benefits of open is that it's probably not going to go to 100, right? It's a real company by all intents and purposes. It is, it's a real company. So it shouldn't be like a small cap super squeezer that can go to 1 million, but you never know. And it's really important to manage risk in events like these really well. So I just got started into this pop with very small size, like roughly 10% of the size that I look to take if we get a breakout through here. This is basically my way, by the way. Everyone always asks, that's like how everyone starts saying something. Everyone always asks me, like 4 people have asked me this, but I do get asked a fair amount of times, like, how do you deal with FOMO? Right. And everyone's answer is different. Some people are super disciplined, super regimented. If I just force myself to not take the trade, what I do is if I see this trade setting up the way that I want to, I'll take starter size at an area where the very least, if this fades down, my profit target on this isn't much more than like 850s, right? But if we get down there, it's a decent little trade, but then I'm sized in right now where my risk, like dollar risk level, it would be a break of like 11, right? So like, I'm not expecting a break of 11. So then what I can do, right, is as we get into ideally a more favorable area, I can hit harder with some more size. That's kind of my plan here. Or if this trade does just end up working and we just start dumping, great. I can attack lower highs and now set my risk level on here. So I started with small size in an area where, I'm not adding into weakness. I'm adding into that morning pop. My average is currently 902. Our high of day, I think, is 903, right? 903 is our high of day today. So I've got, I'm okay right here. Here we are. We're hopping back up into the nines. I would love to see this like 920s, 930s. I'd really love to see it 970s. I don't think we get that today, to be completely honest with you. We're going to have some resistance here in the 910s, of which I'll add some more size into. Eventually, if we get a 970s break and then failure, right? So if we go up to 10, I'll then be adding into my position into a way where I'm risking that high. So I don't want to get started off aggressive into a trade like this. My next add area will be in like the 915s, which I know it's a little bit counterintuitive, right? But Bryce, I thought you're never supposed to add to a loser. Why are you getting into the trade if you think it's going to go higher? Because I don't know if it's going to go higher. And like, we are on a gap down. Now, I wouldn't call this necessarily like an overextended gap down, but relative to the size of this company and the way I expect it to move, it kind of is an overextended gap down. We opened down like 5% on the day. I mean, that's a fairly decent move for a bigger stock. So I'm okay still taking at a slightly favorable area with the idea of having a more favorable entry, a more favorable add. Because like I said, right now my risk is basically $11, which I don't expect it to go to there. The only reason I'm risking $11 is pretty arbitrary. It's really just the dollar risk level. So yeah, anyways, and even that would only be a very small loss relative to my account size. So, essentially if I wanted to be like full size risk, I'd be risking like $20. So that's how small my size is in to start into a position. If I have reason to believe that stock could go higher, again, I would love nothing more than to see a breakout of this 970, a failed breakout, and then rejection. And I know you're thinking, Bryce, why would you want to see a breakout on the short side? Because we're coming up from lows. Generally speaking, you don't see a breakdown instantly lead to a breakout without a pullback. And if we do get that breakout, a lot of times it's a fake breakout. And one thing we know about open, just from looking at the chart here, is that it loves to fake out. Fake out, breakout right here, right? So we break out. Let me clear this whole thing real quick. We have this little multi-day breakout level here. Fake out, breakout, dump, right? We've got our high breakout right here through that $11 area, fake out, breakout, dump. Then get this. This is where it gets really fun, right? We got our support. Fake breakdown, rip. Fake breakdown, rip. So open is really, it loves fake outs on both sides. So I would love to see a fake breakout through here and then pull back to like 8. I think that'd be a very monstrous setup. I think it would be a very clear sign of exhaustion, but I'm going to be patient. I'm just sitting in my trade for now, waiting for hopefully that setup to present itself properly. So just wanted to walk you through my thought process there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm shorting this, JK. Listen, if you haven't shorted before, don't learn how to do it first. Please, whatever you do, I'm going to ask you one thing, right? All you guys, this applies for every single day that you come and watch. Do not just blindly follow me into a trade. Okay. I'm not right 100% of the time. Number one. Number two, when I'm wrong, I know when I'm going to be wrong. I cut my losses quickly. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Bryce, if I just get out exactly where you get out, then I'll keep a small loss. I cannot tell you how much size to put into a trade. I can tell you the way that I position myself, but I can't make sure that you do that. Only you can do that. Number two, if you miss a sell by even like a second, right? That could be devastating on some of these trades. I wouldn't imagine that to be the case for something like open, but you never know, right? You just never know. And so I want to just make sure that you guys don't blindly follow me into trades. I want you guys learning my style, my strategies, the way that I get this, the way that I position myself in these trades. And then from there, maybe you make your own variation of it. Maybe you trade it slightly differently, But anyways, yes, Ruth said it perfectly. Following trades doesn't work because you are not thinking the same as the guy you're following, right? Completely agreed. This is a good question from RS Basha. Bryce, let's say you get your full size you're looking for with a $9.50 average. Would you still be using 11 as your risk, or will you have to lower risk because you have a bigger position? I'll be lowering risk, right? So my idea, again, I am a full belief of don't add to a loser like 95% of the time. However, on a bigger picture setup, right, the way that you get around that is you start your risk very high or low, depending on what style, like what you're trading, right? So in my case, I'm starting my risk at 11 because I don't expect it to get there right now. It could, in which case I'm screwed. Not really. I take my normal loss. However, as I add to that position, right, my risk will lower. Now, this is why I would still be small size in the 920s because I'm still risking 11, right? So in a big trade scenario like this, I might risk starting at 11, like 1% of my account. But as the trade starts to work, maybe 2%, whatever your comfortable threshold is, as the trade starts to increase higher, right? If I'm comfortable, let's say I start off risking 1% of my account at $11, but I'm actually really comfortable on a trade like this, risking 2 to 3%. So what I'll start to do is add in slightly to that position in the 910s, the 920s, right? With the ideal scenario being a fake breakout over 970, rejection, add on a lower high, risk today's high of day, and size in fully. That would be my most ideal scenario. So I like to play out that most ideal scenario in my head. and also make sure that I'm accepting the risk as I go. So right now, if I'm starting in with a 1% risk, will I be comfortable risking 2% as I add into the 920s, the 930s, right? Which, by the way, it's at 980 right now, or 880 right now. So probably not going to get that. Now what I might end up doing is, since I'm expecting a move down like 850 to 8, somewhere in there, 8 to 850, if we could start forming some lower highs, what I will eventually be able to do, right? Let's get this into here we go, an intraday chart. What I would like to eventually be able to do is maybe add into the 890s, risking 910. Although I'm still not fully convicted in that 910 level yet. We haven't set lower highs. We haven't really set the trend. But what I will do is zoom out really quick. We'll take off after hours for now. And I can start seeing these levels a little bit more clearly, right? We've got a lot of resistance here in that 905 area, right? We've got resistance that turned to support, which is why I liked that 903 area as we were spiking into there. We're starting to get a little bit of a bounce here into the 890s. Great, right? But again, I'm not fully convicted in this 910 level yet. If we set another lower low through this 870, I'll be a bit more convicted in that level. And now I can look to add into bounces with my ideal flush being around the 850s down. Really, I think this could probably see as low as like 810 today, right? So talking you through what I'm thinking when I see this and when I'm building into a trade. Again, this isn't necessarily like a scalp trade. This isn't a day one gapper where I have less conviction. This is a trade that's a multi-day setup where I now have more conviction than I normally would. So I'm going to be comfortable sizing in slower, letting the trade play out, and not getting over aggressive too quickly, because I don't want to get into a position where I get full size in the like 890s here and I'm forced to risk 910. That to me is quite silly, because I think this could go a lot higher than 910. In fact, I would like to see it higher than 910 so I can get a much better average, right? With a 902 average currently, I can now look to build into this position in the 910s, 920s, and eventually risk somewhere between like 945 and 980s. And ideally get like a 950s average. That would be my most ideal scenario. I just don't know if it's going to play out that way. Does NVVE have any warrants? I actually don't know. I didn't look at any of their filings, and I don't currently use Dilution Tracker, which would normally show me. Mainly because my subscription expired and I didn't renew it. But I need to just get it again. It's been a couple of weeks now. I don't really check that stuff all that often, although I will admit it is an important thing, no doubt about it. By the way, we got some more day one movers. I just want to keep an eye on them. We got CMMD. It's trading a lot of volume. I'm a little confused. I didn't see this earlier this morning. Oh, that's because it started gapping right when I walked my dog. Dang, that's a lot of volume. It's already traded 120 million shares. Dang. Gonna just put some of our other gappers on here just as I kind of keep an eye. TNMG. Oof. Well, that sucks. That's no fun. Well, I don't have a whole lot here on any of these. Gonna get rid of TNMG. It's nothing I need to watch. Yeah, open the main watch for now. So we just set some lower lows, not holding super well. So what I look for next is we've got a trend forming right here. So if we get a fake trend breakout and then we start slamming back down, I will look to start adding a little bit more aggressively, even though I really would love to see a bigger pop. Just don't know if that's going to be the realistic scenario here. SGBX. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I don't love the daily chart, to be completely honest with you. Not a huge fan. If anything, I'm probably a little bit more short bias on that, so I'm not going to pull it up for that reason. Just because I don't see a trade on it. And honestly, during days like this where I have a bigger picture setup in mind, I really do like to be as focused on that stock as I can be. I'm not good at like splitting focus. I'm okay at it. I'm not great at it though. So I like to just make sure that I am really doing my best to stay as focused as I can. In the one trade that I feel like matters the most to me. All right, open is bouncing through this trend line. Like I said, let's see if we get like a fake breakout scenario here. Or if we get a real breakout. We're tapping VWAP right now. All right, that's a pretty hard rejection there so far on open. We'll see. So it's holding up. So I mean, definitely worth keeping in mind. All right, we're breaking through 9 here on open. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see if we can get 920s, 930s. Let's get a little fake breakout through high a day, or maybe a real breakout that continues longer. But open trading, pretty consistent volume. Not really any standout volume here by any means. CMND halted down, I think. Oof. That's brutal. Yeah. Sub-dollar stock halted. That's kind of rare. All right, open. Here we go. I'm going to look for my next ad. Actually, I'll probably take a small ad there. I just got some at 9:11. Very small, just because again, we're kind of just running right into that resistance here at 9:13. Not aggressive, not an aggressive ad. Just again, building up the average slightly. But again, I would really love to see like 950s. My next ad spot, I'll be looking for roughly realistic like 930s. Again, I'm still working in at an $11 risk right now, which I don't expect it to go there. You never know. What would be sweet though now, right? As I was saying, open loves fake outs. So if we got a fake out high a day break right there and I could build into like a 920 risk, I would be okay with that too, right? 915, 920, whatever this high is here. And so as I look to see more trends starting to form here, right now, it's really just a game of which trend is going to hold. And this is probably going to be a patience play, also understanding that as well. But if we get this fake high day break and then we start dipping lower high, now I can start adding in with a risk on that 915, which isn't my most ideal, but I will say I do like it more than that original earlier like 905 risk, as I was saying, right? SOND, not a fan of it. Gapped up yesterday on no news. And it couldn't hold. It just feels like a sympathy to all these sub-dollar runners. What was that one yesterday that like just squeezed out of LPTX? They're all trying to be the next LPTX. And when they're trying to be the next LPTX, or the next whatever, it normally doesn't work. I just got a question from Giannis. Oh, got to sneeze though. Excuse me. Why don't I see pre-market action on your charts? Because I turned it off. Yeah, I just turned off pre-market. So I could really just focus on, because I don't really care about pre-market action on something like open. Doesn't really concern me. I'd rather just see what the intraday levels are, where our highest volume candles are. That's going to be my, like, what I truly care about. Okay, this is a really hard rejection on open here. Very, this is pretty close to what we would call a kill candle. I will say we're still holding VWAP, so I'm not super aggressive into this yet. I'm not looking to get super aggressive quite yet, but the more that we hold under here and start forming lower highs, the more aggressive I'll look to get. So right now, again, assuming we don't break out, I'm not ready to risk this yet because I haven't sized into it yet. In fact, I haven't added since that 9/11 ad. But I will eventually look to get full size if we hold under this high here at 925, risking 925. That's a pretty aggressive slam candle. It's our highest volume candle of the day, right? At our highest price of the day, we get this monster rejection. So for me, that indicates that I want to be ready to build into that risk if we hold. If not, great. The higher the better, right? But that's a nice start. Because again, my plan was to be able to add in higher, but not necessarily knowing where that high is going to be. Right? I'm not sitting here trying to predict the price. I'm definitely sitting here saying I would love to see this, but if we don't get it, not a worry. So whatever that high ends up being, that's the high ends up being. And if I'm wrong, I'm just wrong. I will not add in until I have conviction that I've got a better risk level than 11. And right now, you could say, well, Bryce, just risk 950. But as I said, my ideal scenario, I would love to see 970. I just don't think we're going to get that. But I would love it. I would love it. So right now, I'm going to get rid of CMND off the screen because I don't want to focus on that in the slightest. Looks like if we can start breaking and holding under 9 on open, I think we'll be setting some really solid low. We'll be starting our first like lower low and then look to build in accordingly from there. So for now, I will be patient. I will wait. Bryce, will the workshop be recorded? I think, but I think it's only for people who get access. I don't know, honestly. Let me ask here. Let me just check. I just asked. We'll see. But my friend who's helping me organize this is on the West Coast, so I don't know if he's awake yet. What's the workshop about again? Yeah, so it's really going to be going through and kind of teaching the formula, like we call it the Tim Sykes formula. Basically, like what all of us have kind of learned, myself, Matt Monaco, Jack Kellogg, the different strategies that really doing like an in-depth overview of each strategy. Again, swing trading, day one gappers, short selling. And then I have a very big, I had a really what I wanted to see in this was a little bit more specification, distinction between setups and patterns. Setups are different than patterns. For example, on something like open, I'm going to be looking for the daily chart. To me is a setup. This is a first red day setup. But the patterns that I use to enter and that I will be looking for to enter as we start setting our lower highs, I can't say, well, I'm entering my position at the first red day. Doesn't really work. You could say when it's red, but it's already red. So a very big distinction there. That's something I really want to go over. And anyways, what I'm saying is it's just basically a whole bunch of learning about different setups, different patterns, different styles of trading, all that. So I have got to keep, I'm keeping an eye on open here. See if we get a lower high. This is holding pretty well. It held VWAP really well. So I'm not not really inclined to say that we are at the, that we've topped yet. I would love to see 970s, man. I tell you, I would love nothing more than to see I just don't think we see that today at this point, the way it's not really spiking that aggressively. Like, I would have wanted to see a much more aggressive spike out of the open than we saw. Throwing down espresso like it's tequila this morning. And case in point, SGBX. That's why I said I'm not a fan of this at all. The daily chart just sucks. Just a crap daily chart. For whoever was asked that earlier, I wasn't going to pull up this chart, but because it did just dump so much, I'll at least explain the logic here, right? So if we zoom out to a daily chart, okay, right? So we've got a couple of key things here in my eyes. Very high volume resistance days. We got a lot of signs of previous failure, 370s, more resistance in the 5s, more resistance in the 430s, right? I'll show you where I'm drawing those resistance lines. 1, 2, 3. These are high volume days that are key levels in my mind, right? And so then we have this nice day one move yesterday and then a gap up straight into our resistance levels today, right? I mean, if we look here, if we zoom back in to, let's try to do like can we do a 1 month? So like a 15-minute. Let's turn off after hours and all that. And you might be able to see these lines a bit better. There you go. Right? I mean, look, we just gapped straight into resistance. And so it's really no wonder we kind of failed right in here, at least in my mind. And now we've got this big gap to fill down into the 250s. So for me, I had zero desire in a trade like that, where each breakout was going to be met with another resistance level. That's just not an easy breakout to trade. So wanted to go over that concept here. Open is holding well. This is holding really well. And by the way, we're starting to form a new trend right here. Pretty aggressive uptrend. Pretty aggressive. We'll see. Again, I'm just chilling, being patient, waiting for a better setup here. No desire to add yet. Again, I would take another very small add in the 930s if we got there, just to build up my average slightly. And then look to really hammer if we get those lower highs. Now, again, this thing I have no idea. This could break out through 11, in which case I just have to take a full size loss. I don't expect that, right? But it very well could. So far, we've gotten our lower high here. We're breaking our trend line right here. Now what I'm going to do is look to see if we hold one more lower high under this trend line before I look to add, risking 925. Not convicted yet. That lower high, it's very fresh. We're just breaking trend. If I was really aggressive, I would look to add here. But because, as I mentioned, I still would love to see higher, I'm not really ready yet for these ads. Where is Matt today? Probably chilling in his underwear in his bedroom, if I had to guess. That would be my presumption. So where would your stop be? I would highly encourage you to rewind like 10 minutes and listen to me explain that entire thought process. My current stop is 11, and I will look to build in with a stop on high day. That's a picture. Thanks. You're welcome. I'm glad I could help you envision Matt Monaco in his underwear in his bedroom. If you're lucky, he might even send us pictures. Open, what I would really love to see, I'm going to get rid of all these lines, by the way. I'm going to just have the lines that matter to me. What I'd really love to see is a dip down to VWAP, a lower high, and then a dip farther. So we're dipping into VWAP right now. Again, this, if we can get something remotely like this, or whatever our next bounce ends up being, I'll be looking to take more size into that bounce, risking that 925, and then look for, again, I would love to see low to mid eights is kind of my ideal. All right. Open, you're doing your thing. I see some more movers popping up here on my scanner. I'm going to check them on my other screen. Oh, it's earnings. Forget about it. Forget about it. Playboy. Playboy made $0 per share on their earnings. All right, can we get a bounce into the 910s here, please? Open, would love it, would love to see it. Really would. It's all on you. Do your thing. Come on, you can bounce, you can bounce. Not just going to add weakness. But we are getting a little bit of consolidation here. Add a little bit, 906. Not much. I'd really like to see a bounce. Or don't. Or just do nothing. Or just do nothing at all. Well, if we don't get a bounce, we don't get a bounce. I mean, there will be a bounce at some point before 850. I just won't be able to add as much size. Again, my average is still, actually, it's a little bit better now. It's a 907 at this point. I don't have incredible size yet, but I am a little bit sized in. I'm not really properly sized in for that 925 risk. It'd be a pretty small loss if I cut at 925. But we are getting our lower lows, lower highs, so we've now reversed trends. And I mean, honestly, could you probably justify like a little trend line break right there? Failed trend line break. Adding into this bounce slightly here in 901. I would love to see 910s, and I will start hammering. Come on, baby. You can do it, open. You can do it. Open up some range. We'll see. Come on. Come on. 910s, 910s, 910s. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I really need a bounce here. And today's webinar is Bryce just complaining about open not bouncing. That's what we've evolved into. I need to mute my chats because they are annoying me. There we go. There's our bounce. Come on. SGBX just broke low a day. Building into this position here on open. 904, 905. Just going to continue to take those ads there. I've got a decent position now. I'd still love to see 910s. Again, very ideal scenario would be getting those 910s and being able to size in 925. That is my new risk, by the way. If we break out, we break out, and I would try it again with a higher average. But this is what I'm looking for here. Go. Added pretty aggressively here at 912. The only thing that I'm a little bit not loving on open is that we actually never tested green. And I mean, on a lot of times on a first red day, that green level, that is the level. So I'm definitely not 100% convicted that, this is it, but I'm convicted enough to get this starter position going. This isn't full size, but it's full size for like a true, a day trade, like a day one gapper. I'll take bigger size generally on multi-day setups. So this is roughly full day trade size. And this is a day trade, by the way. I'm not trying to sit here and say this is a swing trade. I'm just saying that on bigger picture setups, I am comfortable risking more money. So right now, this is going to be, if we take this loss, or if I take this loss here, again, do not blindly follow me into trades. Not right all the time. I will be comfortable to try this again. And that's part of why, again, I really would love to see this thing much higher. It's just a matter of, can it actually do it? And to that, I don't know. But this is a very strong bounce. We're re-breaking out of this trend line here. So the longer we hold up here, the less convicted I get. But it is still a lower high on by every account. Again, this is why I like to add, if I can, as close to my risk level as possible. So the 910s, I'm getting a spot now where I'm only risking roughly 10 to 15 cents a share on these ads, looking for almost $1 a share of downside. But again, these dips, I will say, that's a strong wick right there. I try not to let this little stuff bother me too much, because again, as long as we're still holding lower highs, it's fine. But we're just a couple of cents away now from highs here. Let's take one last ad right there, 918, and that will be my final ad for this trade, unless of course we start going lower lows. And we get lower lows down in the 9s where I could start adding like sub 9. But in the 9s here, this will be my final ad. And we'll see. We're about 6 cents away from a stop out. But yeah, that's a pretty strong wick right there. It's a strong wick. So $9.20. Yeah, the longer it stays up here, the less convicted I get. But patience game. Yeah, I think we're probably looking at a stop out here. $9.24, $9.25. All right, I just stopped out there at $9.27. We'll look for higher at this point. That's kind of the plan at this rate. Look for, again, my ideal scenario would still be a fake breakout, like 970s. So at this point, I'm not just going to restart into this position. I'm going to wait for itself to, again, prove itself at this point. The higher, the better. I'd love to see a fake break through green, red, green, and go from there. But for now, it's going to be a small loss, or a normal loss, a day trade style loss for me. The more ideal this can get, the better. But for now, I am going to probably just wait. This, I would imagine, is going to take some longer time to set up. I do have a webinar I've got to get to in about 15 minutes. But I do think that this is probably a great time, real quick, to actually mention Trade Funder. Because for those of you guys who are like, oh, well, I've got a small account, I can't short, whatever. Open's easy to borrow, so that's nice. But Trade Funder, for those of you guys who are not familiar with Trade Funder, I want to actually bring them up real quick. because they're the reason we're here. And it's also, I think, a really awesome learning process here as well. Losing, you don't win every single trade. That's why I mentioned, risk management is of the utmost importance. And so I'm a really big preacher of risk management. And with Trade Funder, one of the really cool things about it, and by the way, for those of you guys who have never heard of Trade Funder before, it's a fully funded trading account, right? So it's going to basically get you access to trading capital. So that way you don't need to be risking your own money. And I'll tell you this, losses, they hurt a lot less when it's not your own money. So the way that Trade Funder works, especially if you use the link here in the chat that I will actually go ahead and drop now. Just drop that link. It's in the YouTube chat. It's also in the description of both YouTube and Facebook. The way Trade Funder works with the link that I've just dropped in that YouTube chat is you'll put in $800 plus a $99 platform fee. You'll get access to $25,000 of real capital. And so this will allow you to take those trades that you wanted to trade. You'll be over the PDT. You can take as many trades as you want. And better yet, right? If you lose your $800, they actually give you an extra $3,000 worth of losses to take before they shut down your account. Understandably, they're not going to let you just blow up their entire $25,000 for you only putting in $800. But they will let you lose $3,750 in total before they decide to shut that out, because they understand $800, it's not a ton of wiggle room, right? And so if you're taking trades, you don't need to go full portfolio into any of these trades. You can trade responsibly. Every day you get $1,000 to lose before they tell you to take a break for the day too. So on something like open, right? If you only lose like $300 at that stop out, you still have another 2 attempts on that before you breach any of their risk management principles. So this is why sizing becomes so important. And when we can start adding into winners, it's a really important concept. And I think Trade Funder is a really great way to be able to go about that, to remove some of the emotion from your trading, to allow you to trade more freely, being over the PDT, and to be able to size into trades better than you would with, say, a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 account, right? And it's a really awesome thing. And again, you're going to take losses. It's a part of the game, but it hurts a lot less when it's not your own money and you can be less emotionally tied to those trades. And you can really just stop out when the stop out deserves to be. And again, for those of you guys that might be under the PDT, if you're trading something like open today and you take your first loss on it, but then it ends up setting up really well later, you're kind of screwed if you only get 3-day trades a week, right? You can take another trade on it, I guess, but now you just wasted another trade. Some people are like, well, I've got a cash account. You can't short on a cash account, right? You can trade easy to borrow stocks with Trade Funder on the short side, stocks like open, and you can trade them freely. And so as long as you're managing your risk along the way and you're here learning every day, I do think this is a really great solution for those of you guys who have felt like you're undercapitalized. You don't have enough capital to trade this market, or you feel like, you just haven't had the right opportunities. You haven't had enough money to take these trades. You haven't been able to freely trade enough. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect solution for everybody. For example, I just got a question. Can we swing trade on Trade Funder? No, you can't. You can only, it's a day trading account. So if you're solely a swing trader, this probably isn't the solution for you, right? If you're somebody that likes to just YOLO into trades and hope they work, this probably isn't the solution for you. However, if you're somebody who's looking to do this as either a side income, or you're taking this seriously, you're learning to do it the right way, you're learning how to practice risk management well, I will sit here and tell you that while it might not be a perfect solution for everybody, it really is a phenomenal solution. I'd encourage you to go ahead and actually just click on that link and see if this is the solution for you. Trade Funder, because it's a prop firm, they are going to do a profit split, meaning it's one of the best profit splits in the industry. But because they're giving you access to so much capital, if you make money, they make money. It's a good incentive structure for both. Normally, I've got friends that trade at different prop firms. They do like a 60-40 split. I got some other friends at different prop firms, 70-30. Me and Matt, Trade Funder, we're getting an 80-20 profit split, as are you. So if you make 10 grand in the market, you'll be getting to keep $8,000 of that. So the way I would do it, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how you should do it, because that's completely up to you. right? But what I'll say is this: if I were just getting started again, and by the way, I really wish I had access to this when I first got started trading, it simply didn't exist. This is a pretty new concept. They're actually partnered with one of the largest prop trading firms in the country, T3. If you don't know anything about them, look them up. They're like the best of the best. But again, if I were doing this over, I'd be looking to make like $2,000 in my Trade Funder account, pull out like $1,500, and then it's a risk-free investment. In fact, if I lose, I can just do it again, right? Now, Trade Funder doesn't let you just open up an unlimited number of accounts. I want to be completely honest about that. If you do this and you just keep blowing up, they're eventually going to say, yeah, you're not doing this anymore. Like it was good while it lasted. You blew up too many times. So you got to still make sure you're practicing risk management along the way, but they'll give you multiple attempts. They understand that not everybody's perfect. And the cool thing is, as you make more money with Trade Funder, they'll actually reach out to you and ask if you want to get access to an even bigger account. I know we've got some traders in here who have reached out and let us know they're trading with $100,000 accounts now, not because they just made 75 grand, but because they proved consistency. Trade Funder likes to see consistency. And so as you prove consistency, they will reach out to you and ask if you want to be trading with a larger account where you can take larger positions, you have larger drawdown requirements. It gives you more wiggle room, more flexibility. So again, I would highly encourage you to click on that link if this is something that is of interest to you. BZ6638 says, Bryce, what is that $600 discount? Yeah, so if you go to Trade Funder's main website, they're not the discounted link that I've dropped for you. It's $1,400 plus a $99 platform fee. With our link, it's $800 plus a $99 platform fee, largely because they partnered with us here at Stocks to Trade. Stocks to Trade is a trading education company. We've been providing trading education and have had a really amazing community of traders that have come up through the Stocks Trade community. So Trade Funder's idea was that if they can partner with a company who's already trying to help make more profitable traders, that they're more likely to find better traders, and that they don't need, that's why they're willing to take a little bit of a risk on traders here at the Stocks Trade community. So take advantage of it, especially if you're here learning every day. Carlos says, I've lost $600 so far, but I've learned with Trade Funder. Just wondering, what are some tips to keep me going? Listen, I don't have like a magic secret sauce, but what I will tell you is this. First of all, congratulations for not losing a bunch of money, right? $600, you're still, you got another $3,000 to go before Trade Funder shuts you off. So that's number one. Congratulations. You're keeping risk in check. What I would say is if you're still not getting it down, you don't need to be taking massive position sizes, right? Maybe you risk $50 a trade. Just because you have 25 grand doesn't mean you need to use it all. Maybe you just risk $25 a trade as you get it down, and you understand that you're going to take losses along the way, but then you learn from those losses. Then at the end of the trading day, you go into your trading journal and you start journaling your trades. You start understanding why this trade didn't work, why the trade that you did win on, why did that one work? And you start really doubling down on that success, right? And you start cutting out what doesn't work. So round of applause for not losing too much money. I know it's weird congratulating losing, but you're losing small, right? And so that's the big thing. Lose small as you figure it out, and you're able to trade as much as you want with Trade Funder. So you're able to get a lot of data, right? You're able to get a lot of data on the way that you trade. So that way you don't need to be going out there and saying to yourself, golly, I hope it all works out. No. Make sure that you're doing it step by step, trading small and learning from your wins and removing your losses, right? Because eventually those $25 losses that you're going to take, they're going to turn into $300, $400, $500 plus wins as long as you keep yourself in the game. So good job on losing small. Again, you're well within Trade Funder's risk management protocol of a $3,750 drawdown. That's phenomenal. I would say keep doing what you're doing, keep losing small as you learn, and learn from those losses, learn from your wins. It's going to make trading that much more simple. And by the way, Open officially did just break down, so I'll be looking to add into any pops with a new risk on this high of day. It was a fake high of day breakout, which, as we know, Open loves fake outs. So I'll be looking to add into this again, into any strength. BZ6638, so they've got no option trading. So they do, but not with this discount code. If you go and do like their full retail, pricing. They do have an options trading account, but the discount that I've got for you is stock trading only, but they do have options trading accounts if you go to their website. Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, I've got to get ready for my next webinar here for the Daily Income Trader System as a part of Stocks to Trade. Again, I'm going to drop 2 links for you here. One is going to be that link to join Trade Funder. It's right there on the YouTube page. By the way, both these links are in the description of the video. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, just go into the description. You'll also see those. But I'm also going to go ahead and throw you the link for my workshop. It starts tomorrow. You're more than welcome to join completely. I've just gone ahead. Whoops. Wrong link. Here you go. Well, I thought maybe I could copy and paste that, but indeed I can't. So I'll just drop it in here. I'll copy and paste it a different way. There you go. So go ahead. You're more than welcome to click on that link on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. OPEN starting to really flush now. We're down in the mid 890s. So I'm going to wait for any pop that we can get, even if that's like right around my old average 902. I will retry it again, probably with a higher risk at this point, or rather a larger dollar risk now that we've kind of got more of a reason for this to not work. We got the fake high day breakout. So at this point, to me, that shows a lot of signs of weakness. But again, guys, got that Trade Funder link for you right there. I've also got that link to my workshop. They're both there. And I look forward to seeing any of you guys. I already saw some of you guys have registered for that workshop. But I also look forward to hearing your Trade Funder experience. So, ladies and gents, I'll see you back here tomorrow. I hope you are all having an amazing morning. Despite our open loss, I'm pretty confident that this trade will work, and I will just look to make it back on and then some on the winning trade. So, talk to you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Bye, everyone.